And we are looking at how do you prepare for grant writing? How do you prepare for making an application for grants? The general tip I gave you is to start by saying you need to begin early. For most of us, the problem is that we begin too late, and then we don't get to apply the way we want, because we are now tight on different things. You need to also apply early and often. What do I mean by not only begin early, you need to apply early. For instance, if a call is opened today, 21st September 2022, and the deadline for submission is October 20th or 21st, immediately you get the grant, you need to start early. Start early and often. Don't just stop. Remember, don't quit, keep trying. These are general. Don't forget to include a cover letter. If some grant bodies is not really compulsory, but if it is, you need to put a cover letter that gives people a little about the background you're coming from and what may probably qualify you or put you in good stead for the grant you're applying for. Remember, you need to answer all the questions. For most parts, the grant call contains critical areas that you need to look at. So you need to answer those questions. Remember, it's not all grants you can apply. Nobody can apply. Remember, we're a diverse group in this workshop. You can be in another group and you don't have the knowledge and content expertise and you want to go and apply. So you need to answer key questions. You ask yourself, am I qualified for this? If it is a grant for early career researchers, you will now view yourself, you ask yourself the question, am I an early career researcher? If not, you don't need to apply. But if you are, you fit in, you look at your ability to answer the questions raised by that call. And if perchance you finish writing and you have done, sometimes people reject people, but don't be discouraged. You write, keep writing. As you're writing, you're improving your skills because you get tidbits or comments or feedback from a particular a grant body, and you may use it to apply to another body, and that may clinch you the grant. So don't get dejected, don't get when you are rejected. Just be persistent in writing. And sometimes a grant body may be interested in your work, but not in the scope or the way it's presented. They may ask you with their own feedback to revise it, particularly if they are interested in what you are ready to present. Remember, give them what they want, not what you think they want. Give them what they want, not what you think they want. Follow the application guideline exactly. If they say 3 pages maximum, don't think you have so many things to offer and you go and stretch it to 6. You are already, most times, the first step to reviewing a grant is at the technical point where they want to know if you follow the format. Some of the format may even be as strict as a particular font size 12, or a particular font style. So if you don't follow, your own is thrown out at that point because they believe if you can't follow simple instruction, how much more giving you large sum for you to manage. Remember to be explicit and specific. What you want, say it the way you want it, and be specific. If your project is tailored to under 5 children, make sure you are specific about what. If it's tailored to a disease, make sure you are specific. Even if it's tailored to a part of either the prevention, the treatment, the transmission, so many things, be sure you are specific about what you want. Another thing which has been a central theme more like an anthem, is be realistic in your design and in your designing of your project. You can't come and feel you have the whole world. There are calls that are limited. Some grant calls are mainly for 6 months, some even for 3 months. So if you know that your project cannot fit into that short time frame, you don't need to apply. You wait for the one, or you go in pursuit, look for. The problem people have with grant writing is that they believe that grants or funders will come and be looking for them, knocking at their door. It doesn't work like that. As a marketer, remember our branding. You need to go out, search for opportunities. Professor Njah has done well by exposing you to ways of assessing the skills you need, and some funding agencies that you can easily browse. Some of them, they have millions of dollars, millions of naira, if you, so to speak, using Nigerian currency to offer. So go out there and search. Don't wait until only the ones that your directorate or your research unit or something will advertise. Go out yourself, go in search. If you go in search, you are likely to find. You will find the one that fits you, you find the one that fits your idea, and you begin to write. Make explicit connections between your research question. Remember, we did this yesterday. Your research questions, your objective, your method, they just flow. Part of your research questions may stem from your statement of the problem, and you begin to flow. You now state, because of this, I want to achieve this, and that. So you have your method will also stem from the objective, because you want to say, what methods will I use to achieve or address my objectives? And the methods will also stem from, because you can't judge your result outside the boundaries of your method. It will be another thing, but you can compare though with people that used another one if you are making case for a change in method or a particular way, strategy of doing a particular thing. And then your result, remember, you must make that connection, how you intend to disseminate your information. For now, it's become so important that dissemination plan has become a major component of research proposal. If they don't know how you are going to share the idea, get to really elaborate where you intend to share, sometimes they wonder if you really want your idea to be known. So it may not be worth their while doing what you are not sure of how you can share or how others can benefit from it. Remember, I'm repeating this particular point again. It is very, very important that you follow guidelines specified by the funding agency. To actually prepare for writing a grant, you need to do what? Read the guidelines carefully. You don't need to just don't scan through, you don't browse through, you need to read in between lines. So when we say careful, it means you need from beginning, who is eligible, eligibility. Some countries may not be eligible for some gender may not be eligible for a particular project. Some may just not be. Several things there are eligibility criteria set by some funding agency. If you know you don't fit those ones, don't even try. Some may be as simple as 5 years post-graduation from PhD, or that you are early career irrespective. Some may be age. So you need to read carefully so that you know. You need to also learn how to ask your colleagues, your network, professional network, advice to help in writing a good proposal. Some of your colleagues may have maybe received grants in that area. It may be helpful to take 1 or 2 advice from them to really go. And you also, if you are looking at an agency, a particular grant body or a funder, you need to look at examples either in their website or their own successful ones, because that could shape, oh, this is what they like. When you read 1, 2, oh, this is the person they gave. And I have something like that. Maybe if I tilt my own this way, it may appeal to them. So that's the way to go. You need to write a clear and detailed application. I can overstate this. Submitting a clear and well-organized application will help funders make a good decision. We had talked about this a lot yesterday. We talked about branding and all those ones. Good and clear application. Remember, if your application is easy to read, remember Professor Nja talked of 4 C's. It must be coherent, it must be clear, it must be complete, it must also reach coherent, correct, and the clear in the writing you are doing, compelling for it to be good. So those things you need to put into consideration. Remember, you need to give plenty information in answer to the key questions. What we mean by plenty information is that you need to really give the funders or the people that will review your research proposal the idea that you understand the questions or the angle they are coming from. So you need to pay attention, especially those ones they have written as conditions for the eligibility or conditions for the grant. You need to provide, of course, background information. We have talked about that. You need to also show that the activity you are proposing is feasible. Remember, feasibility is not only in actual getting results, it's also, so it's time bound. So your research cannot just take endless listing without collection. No, you must get to a point where you are beginning to make meaning into, you must set boundaries about the time. Oh, we are looking at 10 years, we are looking at 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, or thereabout. Show that you are likely to achieve the stated goals. How do you do this? Your method must be very clear. You know, if you are rambling around your methods, they say you are not sure. Remember, for most parts, the grant bodies, they give to experts in different areas. They must have, maybe if it's a very large agency, you said, for instance, you see that for the Royal Society, you will see that they have thematic areas that they are working on. They will show you the area. They will bring experts in that area. So it's not like you are shortchanged in any way that maybe somebody in agric is reading your own in medicine. So be sure to do methods, because the person that may be reviewing may know exactly some of the available methods or the current methods. Remember, we are repeating this, comply with the criteria. Again, we just finished grant budget, and I've said that in evaluating, it's between being reasonable, your budget being reasonable, and your budget, you're being realistic. I'm repeating it here. You say submit a realistic and well-considered budget that delivers value. This is important. It delivers value because it's, you know, some agencies now, they put a section in the research proposal, value for money, value for money. You must show them that you are delivering value for each naira or each dollar or each pound they are going to give you. So that is a very clear part that you need to do. So you detail your costs clearly. Remember, some of them, they may have a fixed one. So many questions have been coming about the flexibility of the budget range or the budget size. Some have fixed, some are flexible, that because they put the amount within a particular range. They don't wait. They will say, oh, from 250 to 350,000 US dollars. That's a range. So you need to fit your own within that range. Some are fixed, say 10,000 and all. You follow it. If it's a freelance that you are submitting on your own, you need to work your budget according to your own research idea and what you intend to achieve. So that way, so many people like that because it gives you idea to conceive it the way you like and then make for it and submit where you feel you can sell your products and the people can buy. Remember, the budget narrative we said earlier on, need to clearly justify. Why do you need 10 field staff if 5 can do it? So those are things that you now say, oh, we need 10 because we are going to 10 sites. We want each one, and because of how remote and how distant or how spaced the communities are, If we say one person may not be able to cover the other community, it gives you, but you need to say why that is, because some of the reviewers may not know your area if you are looking at a community-based research. You need to provide supporting documents. I can't say this enough. For most parts, funders, especially international ones, and that's where we are also looking at growing there. We don't diminish the local ones. We also have local people supporting research, even individuals that support research within their own community. So what we do too is that the people want to tie you to an institution where they can hold them accountable. That's why you need to, and remember that most of us are working. And if you have something that has to do with outside your primary assignment, you need to get permission for the time you will use. So you need to get a letter of support. It may be institutional, where they are pledging that they will give you the time that the project will require if you are awarded the grant. You may be that you have consortium, or consortia, you are working in several. They need to give such this thing that to indicate that they have agreed to give you support. Another one, it could be to get an MOU that will say that, oh, if we win this, this is what our role will be, this is how we'll perform it. And those things become more like a binding document. Sometimes we may even use a legal document that could guide the funders. Want to see that and see the commitment from the other. You need, for people applying for conference grants, you may want to put yourself in good stead of getting a travel grant for a conference by putting exactly the sections you want to attend. Some people just say, I'm applying, they don't know the one is, it can be for a large international conference. You can't attend all the sections. So you need to show them that you are really interested because this will improve my professional career, or do one or two things. And this is very important. Show them, I've been making emphasis on it, show that you have considered the impact of your activity. And that way you need to state clearly, how would you share the learning and what you have improved by your research? You need to also have the skills and the knowledge you have learned. Remember, each research proposal or research project is an opportunity for learning. You must have that at the back of your mind. And remember, you also need to, the impact, how would you impact you? Support the needs of even your own career. Some, remember that some grants may put you in the global map, and you may state it as part of the impact you are looking at. If you are able to be the first to deliver, to discover this and that, that's definitely will put you, so you need to. And if you say, oh, if I learn the skills in doing a particular lab work method, that way my students will learn. I have students that I will now teach. If I teach 50 students, it means that I have spread the knowledge to over 50, and the 50 may multiply. It becomes, it's not just, it becomes a geometrical kind of sharing pattern, not just arithmetic. So it begins to grow and share and share. You see that the method goes around. And you also need to indicate how you would evaluate if your activities are successful. You want to say, if I'm stating this workshop, do I have recording to say that, yes, we called for application and then we asked people to come? If we have up to 200, then we could have said we met our target and probably exceeded it. So those are things you need to put for sure. What will we use to verify those claims that you say that you were successful? Either the register or some other things. Supposing, remember, we had said yesterday that you shouldn't think about your research proposal as a linear process. I apply, I get. I apply, I submit, I get. No, it could come to a point where the agency may say, oh, we like your project. Some will say outrightly, we don't. It's not within our purview or our scope, so you can take it somewhere else. Don't be discouraged. Take it somewhere else where your your idea may be valued. So sometimes they can come back. The same group may say, we need more clarification from these parts. We need further questions, or you need to answer. You need to reverse it. So in doing so, what you need to do, pay particular attention to areas they say you must revise, the areas they say they need clarification and all. Make sure you follow through. If you are awarded a grant, that's where we are. I'm hoping that at the end of all this, we will have a greater percentage reporting to us in 3 months' time that they have received grants or in the process of executing grants. And that will be one of our major output and outcome of this workshop. So remember to keep the funders informed of your progress. Delays, it's not only progress. Sometimes you have different things that happen. Remember, we had the COVID-19 pandemic, and it changed so many, it altered different people were already working, it altered their plans. So you need to also inform the funders, this is where unexpected challenges, supposing there's a natural disaster that you ought to go to a community and then the flood breaks the bridge. And so what do? You need to follow through, but keep them informed. Keep them informed. Keeping people informed, you always open that communication link. They believe you have respect for them and they will have respect for you. Remember to submit any document you have agreed to do. Remember, in doing your research proposal, you must state clearly the deliverables and the timelines for such deliverables. You don't just come and say, oh, we'll submit this. We are going to measure the weight, the height of on the 5 children, and we don't even say, how often are we going to see the changes? Is it 2 months, 8 weeks, 4? You must state, and you must begin to give the deliverables. Remember very clearly, ensure to keep to deadlines. People, so that's why you need to begin early. Remember, we started with a tip, start early. You have better idea of asking your colleagues and doing so many things. Remember, persistence will make you receive. What I mean by persistence, try again. Never quit. Remember, always join the non-quitters club, and it's persistence that can make you receive. The place they rejected one of your work will be the another place, another meet for another agency to take you on. I've had such a personal experience where I had applied for a place, they didn't even consider I used the same without even changing a word, and the other people, the other agency took it, and I got a big grant. So that's the way it is, persistent. If I just considered that I was rejected one place and just said, maybe this work is not even good, I wouldn't have received. So persistence will do it. And remember, the good book says, ask and it shall be granted unto you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. This is a very key thing you need to remember, that persistence will help you receive. But when you receive, what will make you keep? Consistency and fervency will help you keep, maintain, and receive more. Remember, the good book again says, to every man who has more will be given, to every man that has more will be given. That's why I said about brand loyalty. If you are accountable, if you do good research, you never quit, you are consistent, you are fervent in your application, and you are doing the message you want to pass, the idea, you will get more. And if you don't, remember, it says the people that don't have, even the little they have, may be taken away from them. So I want to thank you. These are the places I also, my book that I use and other sources. Thank you for listening.
Thank you once again, Professor Regina Ejemotwadiaro, for that wonderful one. In fact, it's always a pleasure listening to your lecture. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. Okay, we have some participants who are raising their hands. I can see Professor Wilfred Tarabina. So I would invite the professor to speak. Oh, wow. Prof. Wilfred, did you drop your hand? Okay, I guess so. Okay, I can't find her again. Okay, so I see Chimeze Toti. Chimeze Toti. So please, Chimeze, you can ask your question. Remember to unmute your microphone. Hello, Chimeze. Okay, so while Chimeze is trying to get his microphone ready, can I invite John Boo Ukets? John Boo Ukets, please proceed with your question and try to keep it brief. We just have about 2-3 minutes for the question section so we can invite the next speaker and wrap up. It's almost 1 p.m. John Bull, are you there? You can ask your question, please. You're muted. I don't know if you're speaking, but you're muted. Okay, I guess people just raise their hands. Okay. We also have Glory Imbe Inja. Your hands are up, so okay, she's brought the hand down. Okay, I don't know why that's happening. Hilda Etta, are you available to speak?
Yes, please. I'm very much available.
Yes, please go ahead with your question.
Much
Can you be audible a bit?
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. In fact, it has really been a great opportunity to participate in the workshop. Thank you so much. I wish to find out, it's just a short question. Is it ethical to submit the same grant ideas to? Please, thank you.
Take that again, please.
I wish to find out if it is possible to submit the same grant ideas to two donors.
Okay.
That means you have, yeah.
Yes, if I get your question clearly, you are talking about the same idea, not changing content, not changing scope or scale, and you are saying we submit the same, you mean almost everything the same. I would rather think that that would not really make for good, especially if it's an international organization, the funders. Remember I said yesterday that they have network. If you are submitting them simultaneously, it may not work out well, but nothing stops you also from submitting, because the only thing you will do is that anyone that comes first, you may not decline the other one if you receive grant. You may not necessarily run both grants on the same topic or the same idea. Did you get me here, that?
Yes, Prof. Thank you so much.
So the idea is that you can't stop because you are not sure. Remember, it's a competition. You are not sure that the particular group may take. And some funders may just be looking for only one person to sponsor. And if your own is not. So, but if you are lucky and your idea is so brilliant and is so attractive and compelling to several funders, if you get one and is speaking about the same thing, both in scope and scale, and in direction of the objective, you need to decline one, because that would amount to more or less dishonesty, duplication, since you achieve the same thing.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Regina. The questions are many, but like we said, we are compiling all the questions that you have, and you will receive responses, right? Probably in a different kind of output. But because of time, please, could we invite the last speaker, which is, that should be Professor Mbe Inja, to handle the last part of today's session, which is titled Skills in assessing funding opportunities. So it's pretty much a very short session. So don't worry. I know we are a bit fagged out. I know how it can be to be online for almost 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot. But yeah, trust me, this is a very, 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 very short session. So please, I still beg you to stay put for 5-10 minutes for this session that is about to commence. So we have Professor Anja, who is trying to set up right now, and he's going to take skills in assessing funding opportunities. In the meantime, while Professor Anja is trying to set up, could you please just write one compliment for the ACU? I mean, just something to just, some words of appreciation to the ACU who are funding this program. You know, this whole workshop was put together because the Association of Commonwealth Universities made it possible. So they provided funding for this workshop. Imagine if you had to pay for this. That would have been a whole lot of funds, right? But this is fully paid for by the Association of Commonwealth Universities. So please use the Q&A session to just leave some love. Let's feel the love. Let ACU feel the love, okay? All right. So we just hang on a bit for Professor Mbe Inja to share his screen and start his session.